no rhyme or reason for us to not have an opportunity. Because everybody doesn't want to be a rapper, singer, content creator, but everybody does need motivation, whatever lane and industry they're in, to see that it's not as easy as you think just because this person's where they are. Like, you don't have to hate to win.
Hello and welcome back to Chicken for Breakfast, the podcast where we have all the answers to one very simple question.
Oh, it's my turn. What's cooking? My fault.
I love it. No, it's cool.
See,
you did it once, and
look. You got one time with me.
Look, no, that's fair.
One time.
Look,
I don't know what else to do.
I'm Magic.
And I'm King Tif.
Nice. So today we got a wild episode that is not scripted in any way. We have no notes. We only have a basis of what's cooking. So I'm just gonna start out with the question. What's cooking?
Everything, man. I'm on the best podcast, obviously. I mean,
Cool.
Chicken for Breakfast. Come on now. We're here. I've been waiting on this for like 2-3 months.
That's true.
Come on.
That's
so
facts.
It's obviously been a great day already. But what's cooking? I would say if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the Kingtif network.
Absolutely.
We are dropping every single week somebody new, somebody different, somebody exciting, somebody with a story. What else? We also just dropped our TKN Media logo. So we are officially a media platform.
Okay.
That means that you can book us for any recap videos. You can book us for live interviews, live podcasting. You can book us for photography. We have a list of people that you can get with us with, list of hosts, list of photographers, and list of videographers. So if you want to check us out, it's TKN Media. That's the King Tif Network Media, but it's TKN Media on Instagram. And yeah, check us out, man. We're just trying to expand and grow.
Yeah, we were actually just kind of having a mild conversation. But first of all, this is not the greatest podcast. It's pretty good, but I'll tell you a podcast that's really good. King Tif Network.
Really?
Yeah, listen.
That guy is crazy. I don't know what's up with
listen.
him.
Let me tell you something cool about that podcast. Number one, over 100 episodes.
I mean, that guy, again, crazy. I don't know what
he is crazy.
I don't know what he has going on. He just loves to talk to people, I guess.
Real talk. I heard that it got a couple of awards.
It did. It initially got up and coming media outlet of the year. And that was super, super special to us because we weren't even nominated for anything.
Wow,
we weren't even we honestly I thought I was overlooked. But you got to keep grinding, you got to keep growing, and you can't ever hate. So that was one thing for me. It was like, I don't care that I wasn't involved, even though I wanted to be, because other people I knew was involved, and it was a celebration. So then when I did get the award, it was like, wow, man, like you don't have to hate to win. You don't have to try to belittle somebody else's greatness for your greatness to shine. So that was like a big thing for me. That was in 2021. Then in 2022, we came back and we won actually the best podcast in Ohio, man.
Yeah.
That is huge. But like we just talked about, man, like it's a target now. So people are watching us, good and bad.
It's true.
People want that spot. Some people didn't even know that spot existed till I came around, and it was like, okay, that's great. But like I even told you, that wasn't the goal. That was never the goal to win. That was a part of the process. So if I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, I was going to win that. But those are benchmarks that tell me I'm doing something right. So now for me, it's like never get complacent, never stop growing, because once you stop growing, somebody's going to take your spot. And I can't let somebody take my spot.
Right.
I just got it.
Well, the interesting thing is, like, and we talked about this too, as soon as somebody gets to where they wanted to be, sometimes that's it for them.
That's it.
That's the plateau.
That's the plateau.
They get lazy, or they think, like, well, that was easy enough. Like, all I got to do is, you got to do that. No. You
Mm-hmm.
never get to stop just trying just because you got to a solid place. That's
Exactly.
just like you got there, but now get here.
But now what?
Right.
Absolutely. Like, what's next?
Yeah, so that's like the perfect segue to what's next.
Mm. Uh, so for me, it's about staying consistent. Uh, I don't think Ohio has seen a consistent podcast in yet in the space that we're in. So I just want to be that anchor, man. I just want to be the anchor, uh, not somebody that everybody's got to look at, but just to know that the space is here, and that even if I'm not the person you want to watch, there's other people working. I just want you to know that there's a space here. Because I think when I first started, we didn't know that there was a space here. We didn't know that there was so many great podcasts and podcasters, and the notoriety for podcasting wasn't as big as it was 2 years ago. So for me now, and I crown myself the king on purpose because I wanted to be the anchor. I wanted to be somebody that people could look at like, hey, this is a space. This is an industry, and Ohio has it. Ohio has it, and just like LA, just like Atlanta, just like Florida has big podcasts, so do we. And it's not just me. It's not just my network. It's chicken for breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's other entities that are growing and building and expanding their teams, and I just want to be that anchor to say, yeah, we're not going anywhere. So for me, that's what's next. The hardest part for me is staying as consistent as I've been and continuously growing the audience. So getting the people they want to see, getting the conversations out of the people that they want to see and want to hear about, and just bridging that gap. I actually ran into an artist a couple days ago. Dan Asaf, shout out to him. He said, what you're doing is amazing. You're bridging the gap between the conversation, well, the artist and the actual people. So they can actually start following what these artists are doing because they have a personal connection to them now that they heard their stories. So I thought that was amazing. And that's what I want to do, not just for artists, but for creatives, for entrepreneurs, for, the CEOs of the world, for the people, because everybody doesn't want to be a rapper, singer, content creator, but everybody does need motivation, whatever lane and industry they're in, to see that it's not as easy as you think just because this person's where they are. So that's my whole thing.
It's always, and that's great. Like it's great to not only bring awareness to like the struggles and tribulations of how somebody got to where they're at, but it's also just like a cool thing of like, in a way, you're kind of branching everyone together.
Trying to.
In a really wild and cool way.
Yeah. That's definitely one of the goals, because we were too separated, man. Like, there's too many talented people that aren't making it because everybody's trying to do it themselves. It's like, you can't. Like, I didn't get here interviewing myself 100 times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, you have to understand, and we have to understand as a group, and that's why I will forever do other people's podcasts, and I will forever have people coming on to mine, and I'm gonna get better at that, because we have to understand that we can't do it alone. We have to grow with each other, because there's always gonna be a cap when it's just you. And if once you hit that ceiling, a lot of people start to get like that ego, and then that cap starts to hit, and then you get that jealousy that comes out, and all that emotion, and it's just like, man, I never want to experience that, because I never want to stop growing, because I never want to stop growing with people.
100%. And like, I don't know if anyone out there knows, but like, it is really hard to podcast by yourself.
It is. I've actually done it.
Unbelievably difficult.
It's very lonely.
To just sit down and talk to.
Oh man.
By yourself. It's insane.
Funny thing, the first time I ever podcasted, right? It's called The Life of an Ex-Athlete. If you want to check it out, it is out on every platform. I did 2 seasons, but the first episode, funniest thing, right? I was in my grandma's attic, and I was by myself, and I actually recorded on my phone, and it was the loneliest thing I ever did in my life. I'm like, who am I talking to? But then the that same episode, I went out and I had a show, and I was with my sister. Shout out to DJ Cruz, which she'll be a dope person to interview with y'all. She had a show in Mount Union, and I was like, hey, I started podcasting. You want to get on it real quick? And she was on like the last 13 minutes of it, and I was like, oh, that sounds so much better to have two people on it.
Yeah, dude.
So after that, I was just like really into connecting with who I know already. So that's kind of how I got started.
Well, and I think that I'm kind of experiencing this now too, where it's like I'm getting people on that, like, yeah, I know, but like, what if I got people who I didn't know, or like I wasn't super, tight with? So it's like we have normal content, and we're gonna keep making that, but it's also like, let's share.
Yeah.
Let's share the space. Let's
open
share
it
each
up.
other. Let's lift
Absolutely.
each other up. And I think that's like your biggest thing. Is like it's a dope podcast, but like it's not just you.
Right.
It's like the face behind the brand. Like what makes that worth it for you?
Man, because it was always about others. It was always about supporting other people. Like I was always around so talented people that I was like, man, they just need to be seen. They just need to be seen, and they'll take off. Like if they're seen, if these people are seen from what I seen already, oh, they're gone. So I was like, if I can make a platform like that, then there's no rhyme or reason for us to not have an opportunity. So it was like, for me, let me try to give as many people opportunities as I can, but also I was really big into the Charlemagne's and the Joe Rogan, the big podcasters, the big media personalities, and all they do is service. They service others. They want to talk to others. They want to get other people's stories. They want to help. They want to give back, and that was my whole thing. So, man, the podcast just made it that much easier to do.
Yeah, and I think, and we kind of talk about this a lot, but media itself can be so like social media, news, what have you. It's so negative a lot anymore. So,
absolutely.
So I think it's fun to bring light to not only others, but just like it's important to show like, yeah, we're out here. We're using this tool that a lot of people are using to, hurt each other and, make war with. And we're keeping each other up.
We're bringing
with
positivity into it.
Yeah, and not every episode is like, the best. Like I'm sure there's a few that you're like, oof,
yeah,
I don't know how that made the cut. Or
yeah.
Like, I don't really know. Like that person didn't really fit. But I mean, for the most part, there's just always this factor of we're doing the right thing and using it for the right reason. And I think that's the biggest part about podcasting, filmmaking, everything that people just miss. Like we're so accustomed to just watching it for entertainment.
Yeah.
But like, are you really thinking about what goes into this? Like, are you really thinking about where it's coming from?
So that's what's funny about this whole thing. Cause like, I don't know if my thing's the cool thing yet, but like, my whole thing was to make motivation cool again, to make motivating others cool again, to make supporting people cool. Like it was to me, it was such a long time where people was just like, it's not cool to support people that's not on already. Like what? Like, why wouldn't you support them? If they're talented, why wouldn't you support them? Now, I'm not saying support the bullshit, because there's some bullshit and there's some people that aren't really working, but there's some people out here working every single day to chase their dreams. And it's like, you can't repost. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I was reposting, and it's crazy. That's kind of how everything stemmed. I was reposting 40 to 45 different flyers, content on my personal page, and I was like, man, that's not even me on there no more. So I was like, can I just make something that makes? And that's how things continue to expand. Like the King Tif Network. At first, it was the King Tif Network, but I would post everybody's stuff on our story. I would post everybody's stuff, and I'm like, man, you can't even see the content I'm making. Now it's like, all right, now I got to make TKN Media. Now that's grown into something that completely different than. It's just like, man, but it all starts with people. So for me, it's about, man, the betterment of others. Because if I'm trying to help you, then if I try to help you and you don't help me, that's fine. But if I try to help 100 people, somebody's gonna try to help me. So it's like, at the end of the day, and that's the person I'm gonna build with. So I'm willing to put myself out there first because a lot of people are afraid to put themselves out there. And that's another reason why I call my king, because I'm not afraid to put myself out there. And kings can't be afraid to start things. So I'm not afraid to start it, but I can't be the only one that comes back with it, you know? Like I can't bring we didn't make this, you know what I'm saying?
Right?
Like,
no, shout out to Studio Zero.
Exactly. So it's like, man, you gotta and since then my life's really changed. Honestly, changed forever.
Yeah, and like, it's cool because you could have quit. You could have stopped.
Oh, I feel like quitting
Like
today.
once you got like the whole 100 podcasts, best podcast 2022,
Right.
like that could have been it. Like you could have
Right.
been like, all right, let's move to something else.
Right.
But
And
now,
I almost did.
Oh, really?
Crazy.
I want to hear about this.
Yeah, I almost did. I almost was like, man, like 100. 100 was one of my goals for this. So like, I was like, if I didn't really have any like things going on after 100 episodes, I was gonna stop, because it was an accomplishment for sure, regardless of if I got one view every episode, because I'm gonna watch my own shit. So I'm gonna get one. But it was the ultimate accomplishment for me to do 100 interviews, sit down with 100 different people, get them to open up, edit it, and put it out to the world. I was like, man, what else? Like, if it doesn't amount to nothing, then like at least I could say I finished that. But then it started to kind of move around 50, and I was like, oof, I might not stop. But you know, it comes with its ups and downs.
Well, and I will say that like on the back end, like again, that's something that people don't think about. There was a time where chicken for breakfast, it almost just didn't continue. Like it was almost just out the game.
So tell me the origin. I know we're on your podcast, but you're gonna get on mine. But what's the origin like for you, chicken for breakfast?
So when I was a student at OMS, we had the podcasting class. So I'm sitting out there, I'm looking for a name, I'm looking for whatever. I'm actually out disc golfing with a friend, and I'm like, I'm just saying random things. And I go, chicken for breakfast. What? Chicken for breakfast. That's my podcast name. So chicken, there's like a whole like thing I used to say about it. So my first episode, I wrote a script.
Fire.
My very first episode. No.
No, it's fire.
No.
Cause you gotta go in with some type of plan.
No. It was like reading an audiobook.
It is.
It was
it
so
is.
bad.
It is. Definitely is. I've been there. I understand.
So chicken is a soul food, and
Yes.
breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Is
so
it?
Why not start your day out right with chicken for breakfast? Right. That was my whole concept behind it. And then as I progressed, I kind of got to a point where I was having fun, but it was like talking by myself, sitting there talking to myself, and doing a solo podcast. It didn't really feel right.
Yeah.
It didn't work well. So then I started getting some of my friends at the school on and just kept it cooking. And then I hit this point where, like, I think it was right after I graduated. Right, I finished all my schooling at OMS. I was like, man, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got the space. I ain't got the time. I ain't got the energy anymore. And then, I had the same friend. He was like, why not? Just film. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Just talk to yourself. Record it if you don't like it. And that's what I tell people now. They're like, man, I want to start a podcast, but I'm like, but what?
But what?
But what? Just do it.
Exactly.
Like, even if it sounds the worst, even if just your mom listens, like someone's listening.
Yeah.
You've still got an audience. Like,
Absolutely.
Like you don't need to. Like you don't need this.
Right.
This is not important.
I started on my phone for sure.
I remember one of my greatest episodes is me sitting on a couch with one of my buddies with just a camera.
Really?
Yeah, one of my greatest episodes. So like I'm not saying that like it's
For
easy
now,
to do,
but yeah.
but like it's also like it just depends on where you want it to be. Like how satisfied are you?
Yeah.
So I started, and there was just a point where I hit this like I don't have content, I don't have a co-host, like I don't have, and like now I have Max as a co-host, or I'm doing interviews now, so it's a little easier, it's a little more maintainable, but.
What would you consider your podcast under? So like I have a network, right? So like I have 4 different podcasts. So I have the Royal Interview Series, that's straight interviews. But I also have the Royal Review, where we review movies, TV shows.
Oh, that's fun.
Different, a lot of different things.
That's kind of fun.
And I have Life of an Ex-Athlete that talks about sports and the life after sports and how you grow and what you take from sports and how you develop it into your own life. Like, without football, without sports, for me, I wouldn't be who I am. So that was the whole thing for me. And then I have a fourth podcast that I'm starting in the summer called Kings Only. But what would you consider? All of them are different for me. So I have an interview style. I have the word review is like, I wouldn't consider it my topic-based podcast, but I would consider it like my review-based podcast. But then the Kings Only, it'll be a topic-based podcast. So that'll be like specific topics. So what would you consider your podcast under?
So I would say that we are topic-based because we're always doing, but I mean, we've done like movie reviews, we've done sports battles, like we've went out and played a game of disc golf or whatever and battled it out. Like we've done a lot of stuff. But typically we just sit down and we talk about like social media, something that happened in, music. Like we used to always go over music releases. So I feel like that's topic-based. But like right now, I'm trying to get some people on to do a little more interview-based, kind of share the wealth, if you will. So I would say topic, but yeah, I don't know.
No, and that's the thing about podcasting. Like, you can have a topic-based podcast that occasionally has interviews. You know what I'm saying? Like my interview show is straight interviews, but I may interview somebody on the topic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I may bring somebody in and we just talk about a topic, but it's still an interview, but it's still a specific topic we want to talk about. It's just how do you kind of maneuver it? But I only ask that because like the audiences, they look for certain things. So like I listen to a Secret to Success podcast. That's strictly a topic-based podcast that talks about how do you succeed. That's not necessarily talking about interviews. You know what I'm saying? They interview people once every 30 episodes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I like that style, but I also like the 85 South show. I also like what is it? What is the basketball? Up in Smokes, all the smoke with Matt Barnes. Like, that's an interview-based podcast. So it's like, I had to, and I only talk to you about this because you're a podcaster. So it's like talking out like what we're in. People don't understand. People don't understand that there's differences. There's difference in audiences. And like if you're shooting for a topic-based audience, don't think that, don't veer
off that path. Yeah.
Because they'll like the interviews, but they won't love them.
Well, see, I'm at a point, like, right now in the podcast, like, we've started making not podcast format content, right? So I'm at a point where, like, I want to just be a content creator.
Me too,
right? The podcast is cool. I love podcasting. I love being in the space. But I'm sure there's a space for other things.
Yeah.
Like little comedy skits, little, short films even.
Based off of Chicken for Breakfast?
Just purely
in general?
Creativity. Yeah, it's like kind of taking Chicken for Breakfast. You know how you took your stuff and you made it
TKM Media.
TKM Media. It's like that kind of basis where it's like, yeah, I'm doing a podcast, but also check out this really cool short film I just made.
Yeah.
Check out this really cool thing that we're doing.
I have a whole web series I'm gonna do. That's already written by me and one of my best friends, and you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man, that's what it's about. Expanding from the origin.
I think that all too often, and this is for anyone who's kind of like thinking about starting a podcast or thinking about just, making videos in general, I think don't be closed-minded is the easiest way to go about it, right? So
stop being scared.
You do a lot. Yeah. Come on, guys. Come on. Stop being scared
it's not that
just
hard.
Be you. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
If you don't like the video, don't post it.
Right.
Or post
and if they don't like it, they're gonna talk about it more. That's actually good for you. So anyway.
If you see a couple of videos with the negativity on it, we never take it down.
No.
Never take it down. You know why? It matters. It matters to the algorithm.
Yes.
Like it's cooking. But I think like for you took a way to take all of these cool different formats, if you will, and you combine them into one, and you're cooking. That's what's cooking.
Trying to, man. I appreciate it.
I mean, you've been going to some cool places.
Yeah.
Doing some cool things.
Yeah.
I definitely can't wait to hop on.
Oh yeah,
The
man.
podcast in some form. But yeah, thanks for being here, man. I think
Of
we're
course.
gonna wrap it up. But
guys.
what is that you do with that? So one thing I really enjoy, and I want to end this podcast the way that you end your podcast.
Okay. It's called Get It Off Your Chest.
Yeah, that's right.
That's hilarious.
So what do you want to get off your chest?
What do I want to get off my chest? That you should be subscribed to the King Tif network.
Yo, that's what's up.
That's what you should be doing.
That's
But
what's
also,
up.
you should take control of your life. Take control of your opportunities. Take control of what you want to do with your life. Like, I was not a podcaster 2 years ago. I was in college. I was playing football. I did not even think about putting a mic in my hand. Now, I couldn't think about not doing it. So I say that to say you could literally change your life by just thinking about what you want to do and doing it, and then seeing that you can do it. So, man, just take control of your life. We are not getting any younger. Believe in yourself. Believe in your dreams. Vision the outcome you want to see, and then go do it. Execute it. And don't let nobody else stop you. That's what I want to get off my chest.
And don't stop there.
And don't stop there. Because there's another vision coming. I swear I done had 7 visions from just this one that I started. I don't know. It's a lot. But take it day by day. Appreciate every opportunity that you get. I mean, I'm on chicken for breakfast. Come on now. Like, just appreciate everything that you do, and keep moving with love and grace. And I think that's the best way to do it, to be here for a long time. I want to be here for a long time. I don't want to be here and then like 5 years from now, they're like, where did he go? If I'm not gone from this world, I want to be right back here on Chicken for Breakfast, man.
Yo,
5 years from now,
good.
like, for real,
That's
man.
what's
Like,
up, man.
because we all got to stick around for us to win. Like, it can't just be me. You know? So I'm challenging you to, that's my get it off my chest. I'm challenging you to stay around, because I'm going to be here for 5 years.
All right, I'll be here.
So I'm challenging you to be
I'll
here.
be here.
All right.
Whether I'm not here or not, I'll be here.
Exactly.
I'll be
man.
here.
Every day, man. Every chance we get. You started this, so let's just keep it going, man. Why not?
That's what's up.
That's it, man.
That's what's up. I like chicken for breakfast.
That's your get it off your chest. No, you gotta save yours for my show. You
Yeah,
can't.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can't
yeah,
do
yeah.
it now.
Yeah. Well, no, that's how I end my show. I
Wow.
like chicken for breakfast.
And so do I.
Do you?
Do I? Find out more on King Tif network.
Hey, we hope you will too. Peace out.
Peace.
Hello and welcome back to Chicken for Breakfast, the podcast where we have all the answers to one very simple question.
What's cooking?
Yo, that's right.
I remembered.
That's
Okay,
right.
let's get it.
I hear this is your specialty.
I don't know about specialty, but we get done. We get done this way.
Right.